Hello guys, welcome to today's class. Please, if you are online and you are viewing this class, do well to give a thumbs up. Let us know you, let us know your name, and let us know where you are watching from. Okay, so in today's class we are going to be learning how to draft an half length, okay, an off shoulder, bustier, um bodies, right? So let me say that again. So it's going to be an off shoulder, it's going to be an half length. An half length is, the upper bodies that you attach to the lower bodies of your design or of your garments. So it's going to be an half length, and it's going to be an off shoulder, and it's going to be a bustier, and then we're also going to be using a side bust dart for it. So it's a full class. It's something that should change your bustier game if you're not very good in drafting and sewing bustiers. We are just going to do that now. Okay, we are going to be very explicit, not too much technicalities. All right. Okay, so we have our pattern paper, okay, um arranged out already. Okay, so I would say we should draft both bodies together at this point, but my table is not enough to give us both bodies. My table is not big enough to give us both bodies at the same time. So we'll just go and do it one after the other, but we are still going to be very fast. Okay, so we're doing an off shoulder like I mentioned earlier. So the first rule in making your off shoulder is to deduct some certain amount of inches away from the upper parts of your bodies, right? So at this point, and the standard, well, standard can be changed, but I'll just go ahead to tell you the standard is 5 inches. Okay, but I'm not going to be using 5 inches. I'll be using 6.5 inches because the client wants it to come down a little. Okay, and then it's also going to have a sweet heart um, cut in the front. So I'm going to be doing this is my measurement book. We'll be using it in this class. I'm going to be taking away 6.5 inches. So I take away 6.5 inches. I put out 6.5 inches as my tape rule. And then my bust point is 11.5. I have it. Actually, my bust point is 11. So I added a 0.5 inch to it. So that's when we join, on this part. If you're going to have a yoke, or if you're going to turn it, sew it and turn with your lining, you are not going to be, your bust point will not jump, okay, upward. So I go ahead to add the 0.5. I've taught all of this in different videos, here on this channel. But I'm just, going back to saying some of those things for the benefit of those who probably this is their first time here on this channel. Okay, so I added a 0.5 inch to my 11 inches, which is my bust point. So we have 11.5. My under bust is 14.0.25, 14 1/4. I also added 0.5 inch to it, so it gave me a total of 14.75. My half length is 17.5. Okay, I added the 0, so that 0.5 is constant, so I don't keep repeating it. So my half length is 17.5, and then I added 2 inches seam allowance to the bottom part. All right, which of course by the time we are done putting the bodies together and we have to attach it to our lower bodies, we may have to cut out the SSS around here. So I brought the same measurements down here, okay, so I can have a proper straight row. Okay, so that's what I did before you came online. If you are on this class, if today happens to be your first time in this channel, these markers I've started, I just bought it. This is the first thing I'm doing with it, and it's acting up already. Let me change. I just bought them now. I've not used them before. Okay, so this is Fashion Boss Innovations Academy. This is one of our online classes. It's to be of great benefit to you if you can stay to the end of this class. Okay, if you want to improve on your Bustier games, right? So this is what we have. So right about now, I'm going to be measuring my back, my back my back measurement is 17, so I'll divide that by 2. I'll be left with 8.5 inches. Now, because it is an off shoulder, there is something we call, the above chest measurements is above the upper chest measurements, right? And then we also have the upper back measurements. I call it across chest. So it is from one point of your armhole to the other point of your armhole. Okay, I call it across chest measurements. If you know how to use those measurements, it's very good. It helps your tube. So what we are drafting is actually a tube because it's an off shoulder, right? It's a tube basically. So it helps your tube to sit well, around your upper chest here. Okay, so if you are going to be taking that into consideration, I don't want to scatter your understanding. I'm meant to deduct 1.5 inches away from my back measurements, but I'm not going to do that, so I don't get you confused. In case you don't know how to do that yet, I'll just go ahead to impute my back measurements divided by 2. Okay, impute my back measurement divided by 2. So in the process of me trying to shape in the outfit and all, I will just deduct that 1.5 inches so that it sits very well around my upper chest area because it is a tube. Okay, so I will impute my 8.5 inches, which is my back measurement divided by 2. So after doing that, I'm going to be measuring my armhole, taking my armhole line. So on this place where we have our back measurement, I'm going to put my 6.5 inches, put my tape rule on 6.5 inches. So we already took out 6.5 inches, so we'll put it out at 6.5 inches, and then we try to get our armhole. How do you calculate your armhole? Your armhole is your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. Where is my calculator? Glory. I'm coming, guys. I'm trying to get my calculator. So I show you everything. We should have 8 inches, but I just need you to know what I am doing. So to get your proper armhole measurement, you divide your bust 39 divided by 6. Okay, so what I have is 0.6.5. I will go ahead to add a 1.5 inches to it. That is the formula, plus 1.5. So what we have is 8 inches. I told you we are going to have 8 inches, but I just needed you to see how the formula works. Okay, so when you hear and people use 8 inches, 8 inches, it is standard, but it is subject to the size of the bust of the person you are working for, right? It is subject to the size of the person and the bust of the person. So having put my tape rule on 6.5, I am just going to trace my 8 inches, which is my armhole measurement. I will confirm my shoulder measurement, which is 8.5. Okay, and then I'm going to use my ruler and then connect. Okay, to get my armhole line, just like this. All right, just like this. Okay, so after doing that, you just create a little slant, a little curve, as your armhole, just like that for now. So once we are done with that, we are going to come to this part to, oh, I'm sorry, we may have to ignore this. Okay, we may have to ignore this, but for now you just hold on. We are going to ignore that because I just remember that we need to deduct, we need to tighten our upper chest area, so we are going to ignore this. So the next thing to do is to impute our nipple to nipple measurement. So the nipple to nipple measurement for this project is 7 inches. Okay, 7 inches. So if you divide 7 inches by 2, you are going to have 3.5. I will go ahead to add the 0.5 inch to it to make it 4 inches. Okay, we'll make it 4 inches. I will bring the same line up here. Please go ahead to give this class a thumbs up, a like, drop your comments, drop a question if you have any. Okay, please do that. So I'm just going to connect this with a straight line. Okay, so after doing that, we are going to come to underbust. Before we do, let me label. So this is our bust points, right? This is our underbust. This is our waistline, which of course is the M of the project we are working on. So I'll just do M, right? So the next thing we are going to do is to tighten our under bust. Okay, so I'm going to be using a 2 inches tightening for the under bust, right? So I'm going to be sharing it into two, but not into two equal halves, right? So I'm going to be doing a 1.5 here and then a 0.5 here. Okay, so I'll just place my tape rule like this. So I'll take a 1.5 tightening around here. Okay, and then I'll do a 0.5 tightening around here. So whatever we have here, we're going to bring it down to the hem. Okay, just like this. 1.5 and 0.5, and then I'm going to connect it with a straight line like this. Hope you're seeing what we are doing. Please go ahead to ask your question. I'm going to attend to them. And then after doing that, you're going to use your armhole and connect your curve into your bust span line, just like this, neatly, just like this. I wanted to say something, but I've taught this class over and over and over again. So and then I'm going to go ahead to connect this also into our bust span line, just like this. So after doing that, I am going to be tightening my upper chest area or my upper bust area. I'm going to be using 2 inches to tighten my upper bust area. So it means this shoulder line we have to shift by 2 inches. But let us do the tightening first, okay? So I'm going to be sharing the 2 inches by 2. I'll put 1 inch here and then I'll put 1 inch here. And then we are going to connect it into our bust span line like this, okay? So that is that. You can see it's taking a beautiful shape already. So it means that we are going to shift our back measurement, by 2 inches. So we are not going to be using this. So let me shift it means these 2 inches, we are going to replace it here, okay, so we don't run at the shirt. So I will shift this by 2 inches, just like this. Okay, so I'm going to be using this marker for this, so that we are not confused. We don't have too many lines, just like that. So this happens to be our new armhole line. Okay, this now is our new armhole. Okay, like this, and then not this. Please take notes, okay? Not this. And then we are going to do our armhole curve. Like that. Do you understand? So we are no longer using this. Okay, hope you get. All right, so we are done with this upper part for now. The next thing we are going to do, we are almost done, guys. It's not the fake cuts at all, right? These things are not the fake cuts at all. So we've tightened our underbust, we've tightened our upper bust to give us a proper contour for our bust area. So the next thing we are going to do is to impute our circumferences, that is our measurements, okay, our horizontal measurements. So for the bust the bust measurement is 39 inches, okay, 39 inches. So let's start from the waist. So we're going to be using 35 inches for the waist. So 35 inches divided by 4, you are going to be having 35 inches divided by 4, you have 8.75. So your 8.75 We have 2 inches here that we're taking away for our tightening. We are going to include it plus 2 inches. That is 10.75, right? 10.75. You know, after cutting, you have to join this panel, the side panel, to the front panel. So 0.5 inch, 0.5 inch, that is 1 inch, okay? Plus 1 inch. You see it's increasing. We have 11.75. After joining that, you should go ahead to add at least 2 inches seam allowance for your lining turning, for your fitting, and all of that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead to add my 2 inches. I'll actually add 2.5 inches plus 2.5 inches. So we have a total of 14.25 inches. I will make it 15 inches, okay? I'll just make it 15 inches. 15 inches. I'm going to extend this line, okay? Please make sure you watch the drafting for the back panel, because the drafting for the back panel is not the same as the one for the front panel. The back panel, we are going to tighten, you know, and eliminate the bulge, the things that causes, you know, that bulge around your waistline when you fix or install your zippers. So make sure you watch the back drafting, okay? It's very important. So we've gotten the measurements for our M, which is also the same thing for here, okay? So right about now, we want to measure for the under bust. The same thing we did to get our waist measurement is the same thing we are going to do for the under bust. So your under bust divided by 4 plus the inclusion of this that you are taking away plus your joining allowance, okay, to join this to this, okay, plus your extra inches for turning and lining and all of, you know, those stuff, okay. So my under bust is 32 inches. 32 inches divided 4 plus 2. My under bust, 32 inches divided 4 equal to plus 2 plus 1 plus 2.5. So, yeah. So I just go ahead to add about 5 to 6 inches to it basically, right? So I have a total of 13 inches. Alright, that's what I am going to insert a total of 13.5 inches for my bust measurements. Alright. And then my burst is 39, the same thing, but the amount of addition you are going to put for your bust, because we didn't deduct anything for the bust area, is going to be lesser than what you are adding for this part. This is the part where we deducted, and so that we can get a proper contour, you know, for our bust. So it's going to be your bust divided by 4, okay, plus 1 inch for joining, okay, plus your normal 2.5 inches that I also added here. That is 13.25 inches, but I'll just make it 13.5 inches. Okay, hope you understand what we are doing. I'll just make it 13.5 inches, right? So once we are done with this, I'll just go ahead to connect this together like this. And then like this, okay? And then like this. So at this point, guys, we are done drafting the upper bodies. I'm going to cut it out. I just want to make that place to be realistic. I'm going to cut it out so we deduct our 2 inches for our bust measurement. So this is our bust point. We are going to come down here. So how do you get what you are meant to deduct, you know, for your side bust dart? So when you measure your half length from your the front part of your half length, you will go to the back, to your back, and also measure the back length. So from your shoulder to your waist, okay? The difference is always about 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inches, at most 2.5 inches, depending on the structure of the person's body. Do you understand? Yes. So for this one, I am going to be using 2 inches. Okay. So I will impute my 2 inches like this. This is the bust dart right now, and then I'm going to connect it to my bust point. So this is how to get your bust dart. Like this, I'm going to connect it here like this. Okay, I'm going to connect it here like this. So we are going to be taking this away. We are also going to be taking this away. Okay, we are also going to be taking this away. So this part that's doing all of the zigzag are the parts that we are going to be taking away. Okay, so right about now we are done drafting, the upper bodies, the front panel of the upper bodies. We are going to go ahead to cut this out. Give me hemming glue. We are going to go ahead to cut this out. Give me ugum to cut this out, and then we'll go ahead to draft for the back bodies. Make sure you watch for the back bodies because you will learn a lot from it. Okay. So we are going to be cutting for the back bodies. So I'm going to be doing the cutting off like this before we close our side bust darts. Okay. Don't forget, I said it's going to have, a sweetheart effect, in the center front. So you determine how deep you want the sweetheart to be. I'm going to be doing 1.5 inch or inches like this. I'll do 1.5 or 1.75, and then I'll get my curve. And then I'm going to connect it like this. Just like that for the sweetheart neckline, and then I'm going to be cutting it out like this. Okay, so let's close our side bust dart straight away. If you've not known how to close a side bust dart, this is the best time for you to learn. So I just slant my bust line like this. But you're not going to slice it through, okay? I will apply my glue. I will apply my glue like this, okay? I will apply my glue glue like this to hold down the other panel like this. Once I'm done, I'm going to bring this, place it on the line like this, and voila, we have succeeded in closing our side bust darts, guys. So you see, it is equal. No place is, we are not short of fabric at, you know, we are not short, we are not, our measurement is intact. Okay, but in some cases you may lose a 0.25 or a 0.5 inch here, but you have to replace it. But at this point we are good. So this is the front birdies. This is the front birdies. So we are going to be drafting for the back birdies. Okay, so I'm going to end this class now and then relaunch for the back bodies. Look forward, I am coming back right now. Okay.